I'm Martijn Koene from Koene USA, and tonight I'm going to show you how to rebuild, check a carburetor from a Vortex ROK GP for tomorrow's race. Let's start at the top. A very important thing is to check if the needle was straight. So we're going to disassemble the needle. Here it is. It's a K33, and what I always do is put it in between your fingers, spin it around, and make sure it's perfectly straight. Let's put it back. So hang on, you have to be careful because there's a little small washer. You can see it here. You can either put it on top or on the bottom of the little clip. So we go back into the slide. Tight it down again. So this one is good. Then we go to the bottom. I'm going to dismount the float chamber with the floats inside. The floats should be 4 grams each. Very important thing is that the little pick goes down and that they move up and down very smooth. If one gets stuck, your engine will never run fine and you always find trouble. So as you can see, they go smooth, so this is good to go. Let's take out all the main jets and the pilots. This is a smaller one here, the inner pilot. Hope you guys can see it well. So everything is out. Take away the gasket. You're going to take out the emulsion tube. Hang on, need a different socket for that. So that's out. So a very important thing to do is to check the emulsion tube, or have them check at your local tuner. A 268 should go in and a 269 shouldn't go in. As you can see, the 269 doesn't go in. So this is a DP 268. So that's a really important thing. If you're too big, you get a DQ. If you go too small, you get a DQ. So that's a really important thing to check. So this one is fine as well, so we can put it here. Then another wise thing to do is to blow out with compressed air on the small pilots and jets to make sure the holes are empty, and not filled up with dirt, say old oil or whatever. So I normally blow them out with compressed air, and as they clean, you put them back together. So another thing to do is take this little aluminum nut out and check if there's any dirt in, and I will compress everything with, blow everything out with compressed air as well. So blow this out and then you're pretty much good to go. So let's put it back together. So the emulsion tube is fine. Here we go. Make sure you tight it good, because if you want to do a quick jet change, sometimes when it's not tight, you take the jet out completely with the emulsion tube, and you don't want that. That one is back in. The small pilot has to be a B45. Make sure you have the right one in there, because if you do put a different one in, you might get a DQ as well. So this has to be 45. The top pilot has to be a 60. So this one is tight. This one is 60. I put that one on top. Tight as well. Then we're going to put in the choke jet. It's a 60 as well, so that one goes here. And then of course the main jet. We run on 132 right now for this race, so I think anywhere between 130, 132, 135 depending on the weather. If you go richer on the needle, you normally go smaller on the main jet, vice versa. So that one is in as well. I'm going to put the aluminum gray bolt in here. Tight it down, so that's fine too. Then a very important thing is the float level. You can change it, you can play around with it a little bit. So you can put it lower or higher. I always run it, let's say, flat, like at the same angle as the carburetor bottom. And normally what I do, I put it around, say, 4 mil from the bottom of the carburetor. Hope you guys can see it. This socket is 4 mil, so if you put it here, your engine should run fine. So let's put the gasket back on. We're going to put the basket. I always do it like this, so the floats fall into the carburetor, so you can't go wrong here. So they're in. Put the 3 little bolts in here. A very important thing I always check to make sure the floats are in place and in order. You know, sometimes, you know, when you put the basket on with the floats, sometimes the float goes underneath the float level, and then the engine won't run, or fuel gets out of the carburetor on the top because the pump keeps pumping and the float lever won't close the valve, and you'll have problems running motor. So I shake it up and down when you hear a nice noise, and like stuff what goes up and down in the carburetor, you're good. So okay, the slide back in the carburetor, the spring back in, and the top back in place, and you should be good to go for tomorrow's final. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and see you next time.